In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 roll and write board games that I absolutely love. These are all games that anyone can play, and that's one of the reasons why I love these games. Stick to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you how all of these games are actually fantastic ways to connect with your friends and family during this time of quarantining and social distancing. Hey guys, I'm Evan and we're Being Friends, and we love to share with you how board games can help you come together and connect with others. In this video, I'm going to talk about roll and write board games. Roll and write games are a genre of games that essentially have you either roll some dice or flip some cards. And depending on what the results are, you write or draw something on your sheet of paper or dry erase board that'll get you tons of points. All of these games are vastly different, fairly inexpensive, and offer really fun strategic experiences. So roll and writes are a genre of games that within the last year, I have absolutely fallen in love with. These are my 5 favorite roll and writes. Let me know in the comments below if there are any roll and writes that you love that I haven't played or I didn't mention in this video. And if you got a new game for me to try, I would be ecstatic to try it out someday. So drop a comment below. It is currently storming outside, so if you hear the occasional thunder or just a bunch of rain in the background, I couldn't really do anything about it. Honestly, I don't have power to control the weather, which sometimes is a challenge, but I make it through. So thanks for being graceful and forgiving about that. If any of these games sound exciting to you, or they sound like the perfect roll and write that you really want to try, we have links in the description below that will send you right to Amazon so you can get it so fast. All right, let's dive into these games. The first game, the box broke, so it's just like a slip, is a game called Quixx. This game is probably the simplest one on here. I think my mom bought this game at Kohl's. Quixx is actually really fun, and I am almost always down to play this game. It is 15 minutes and so simple, but this game is a spectacular option because of how simple it is. Essentially, all you do is roll 5 dice on your turn. There are 4 colored dice and 2 white dice, and there are rows of numbers for each color, going from 2 to 12, and then 12 to 2 for some of the colors. After rolling the dice, you choose 2 of them, combine the numbers together, and cross out a corresponding box in one of the rows. Your goal is to cross off as many boxes as you can before the game ends. The problem is, you can only cross them out from left to right, and if you go too far to the right, you can't go back, which means the game is all about risk and reward. If you cross out your 5, your next one is 6, but you can cross out anyone further. If you're waiting for that 6 the entire game, you're not going to get anything. But if you skip to 9, then 6, 7, and 8 you can never get in that row, no matter what. So the exact right pace that gives you both the most points, as well as a sort of a little race, because if I get the last number in the red row, then the red dice is actually out and no one can fill in a red box again. So you're trying to be the first person to get to the end while still having as many X's as you can in each row. And for those reasons, Quixx is a fantastic family game that I recommend to anybody. The next roll and write game I want to share with you is Silver and Gold. This is the newest roll and write game that I own, and it is actually one of the most unique roll and write games I've ever played because instead of having your own sheet of paper that you write on and draw on, you're actually using a dry erase marker and writing on different cards. And over the course of the game, you're going to get multiple new cards and write on those as well. In Silver and Gold, everyone has 2 treasure cards, and your goal is to fill as many of those treasure cards completely with X's. Every turn you're going to flip over a card, and it's going to show you a tetromino or some sort of Tetris-like shape that you have to fill in the corresponding boxes on your own personal card. And as soon as you fill in the last box on your treasure card, it goes to your score pile and you get a new one. So you're going to be doing this over and over again, and you're trying to time it out so that you can complete as many of them as you can and get the new ones that you want before the other players can. And every single treasure card is slightly different. Some of them give you bonus points, some of them get you extra X's. With this game being as simple as it is, it's actually surprising how many crossroads there are in this game that you know that if you make the wrong decision here, it's gonna really bite you in the butt. But when you make that right call, assess the risks well, it really pays off and it feels so satisfying. And overall, I'm really excited to play it more, and I really think that you should check it out because, again, this is another one of those games that anyone can play with it being as simple as it is. Alright guys, I'm going to share with you what our Instagram followers said were their favorite roll and write games, starting with Jim Gamer said that his favorite, or he actually said the daddy of roll and writes, is Ganz Schon Clever. He said Ganz Schon Clever is so simple with no theme bolted on, but it's a brilliant puzzle of number crossing and dice rolling. So many options and choices, and when you get a cascading multiple move, oh my, so satisfying. Works great solo, and the rules tell you what a good score is, which I love. I've only played Ganz on an app, but it is very awesome, super fun. I really want to have it someday. It's really cool. The Evil Meeple said, so far, probably Cartographers. They also have Ganz Schon Clever and Metro X, which are all great. You'll see what I think about Cartographers coming up, I think, maybe. Play with J&J says, welcome to, especially for bigger groups, but they prefer Cartographers in a smaller group. Sergeant Pepere says that basically all of the ones on my list are his favorites, but he hasn't actually tried Silver and Gold yet. Tabletop Sauce says Railroad Inc. is probably their favorite. She says the dice are so cute and she just loves trains. She said that she is going all in on the new Kickstarter for Railroad Inc. Challenge, and I also went all in. I'm so excited for it. Hannah Sim 18 says welcome to is their favorite. She says it hits the sweet spot between something that has a little more meat while still being really quick to play. And I agree. It's a fantastic game. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. I don't care about getting more followers, but I would love to talk with you, and I would love to hear what you have to say about games, what you love about them, what's your favorite games, all that. Instagram is the best place to connect with us. All right, let's get back to my favorite roll and write games. The next game I want to talk about is Railroad Inc. Okay. I have both the Deep Blue and the Blazing Red edition. You only need one of them to play it, but if you have the second copy, you can play with up to 12 players rather than just up to 6. As well as you get even more expansions, because the blue comes with rivers and lakes, and the red comes with meteors and volcanoes. I am so glad I have both of these. Anyways, this game is a game where you are building a route system of railroads and roads, trying to connect as many exits as you can by using the 4 route dice that are rolled in the middle. Problem is you have to use all 4 of them, and sometimes you really don't want to. Sometimes the dice are so obvious where you should put it. It's like, oh, I need to put that there for sure because it's exactly what I need. It's perfect. And that's so fun. But then there's the dice that are like, I don't want to put that anywhere. Frick. And you have to make the best call with what you've been given. So there's those 2 instances where it's like so obvious, and then also the ones where it's so like you don't want it at all. But at the same time, because you're rolling 4 dice at a time and you're placing them all simultaneously, the decisions that you end up getting to make are actually really creative, because there might be some sort of like obvious play that you think you're gonna do, and then you look at it and you realize, wait, if I use this one here, that can help me get this further there, and essentially it comes together completely different than you're expecting by creative problem solving. And there are so many turns in Railroad Inc. where I have no idea what to do, but then upon thinking about it, I come up with a solution that works so well, and it's just exciting. This game is just absolutely fantastic, and then when you throw in one of the expansions, then it becomes even more interesting. It's just got so much going on that it's just so good. You may be wondering why the setting changed a little bit and why I'm wearing a completely different shirt. It's because some of our footage was lost for various reasons, so I'm here reshooting this stuff. And now we're gonna get right back to this list with Welcome To. This was my very first roll and write game, and it still to this day is one of my favorites, being number 2 on my top 5 list. In Welcome To, you take the role of an architect building a neighborhood in the 1950s. It is a fantastic puzzle, and I love it so much. In Welcome To, every turn you're flipping over different cards and building a house in your neighborhood. When you build a house, all you do is write a number in one of the corresponding houses, and depending on what you choose, you activate a different special ability, giving you parks or pools, or increasing the value of different estates, or various other things. The main bulk of the puzzle of this game is that you are building houses, and from left to right, you have to have the numbers go in ascending order. On top of choosing what number of house you want to build, the corresponding ability for whatever card you choose becomes really, really important throughout the game. Usually you're going to be taking a specific path and trying your best to get as much of that as you can. So if I get pools, they actually become more and more valuable each pool I get. So you want to get even more pools. You want to be a neighborhood full of pools. or parks, or maximize the value of each of your states so all of your houses are worth even more points. The game does a really good job at giving you a variety of paths to take, and when you choose a path, rewarding you for sticking to that, but at the same time rewarding you for diverting really well. I'm going to keep talking about this game, but it's going to be the footage from before, so I'll see you then. And welcome to, while you're building all of your houses and doing all these special abilities, trying to get parks and pools for points and use the fences to create estates to score your houses, there's also 3 objectives that every single player has. The first person to finish them gets more points than anyone else who finishes them. So there's a little bit of a race between all the players at the same time. There's a little bit of an incentive to make sure that you are being really thoughtful about all of your actions, especially early on in the game, and to me that actually ends up being really fun. Welcome to, in the end, is a fantastic roll and write game that offers a ton of depth, a ton of replayability, a ton of different strategies that all work, and for those reasons it is such an exciting game. And while it's all those things, it also is a game that is simple enough that anyone can really play it, so it is, like all the rest of the games on the list, a great roll and write game that anyone can play. The next game on the list I like even more than welcome to. It is a stellar game that I'm so excited to share with you because it is just so good. The other footage that we lost was for my #1 game of all time. In the middle of recording it, the mic died, and I didn't know that until a couple days ago, so I'm here with a fully charged microphone, and we're going to talk about my favorite roll and write game of all time. This one is one of the newer ones that I own. After playing it many times, Cartographers has proved itself to be a stellarly designed game, as well as offer tons of replayability. In Cartographers, each player takes on the role of a cartographer, making a map for the queen of the land. Every turn of the game, all you do is flip over a card, and that's going to tell you both what shape you can draw, as well as what terrain that shape is on your grid of spaces, and you can draw that shape in anywhere you want, and the place you put it greatly affects how many points you're going to get every single round. Every turn is both very important, but also incredibly simple. All you do is, again, draw that one shape somewhere on your map. Generally, there are 4 terrain types: forests, villages, rivers, and farmlands. And each of the objectives in the game corresponds to a differing land type or the way that you fill spaces in your map. The way that you get points in this game is by the objectives that you're given at the start of the game. Every player shares the same objectives, and the way that these objectives are scored are essentially as follows. There are 4 total objectives, but each round you're going to score 2 different objectives, and there are 4 total rounds. So each objective is going to be scored 2 times over the course of the game, some of them earlier on and some of them later on. And so the way that that plays out is a wonderful balance between short-term and long-term strategic thinking and decision making. It is both incredibly important to, in the early rounds of the game, maximize the amount of points you can get with the objectives you're given at the start of the game, as well as think about which ones are coming up and see how you can invest in those right now. That is always such a wonderful balance. One thing that I love about this game, I was mentioning how much replayability there is in this one. The way that the 4 objectives impact the whole game is vast, and depending on the combination of the 4 objectives you have, the game is going to feel so much different. There's a broad number of possible combinations of these objectives. The vast number of combinations of these is one of the main ways that this lends to great replayability, but another thing about it is each objective, depending on which rounds you're scoring for it, feels entirely differently. It's really, honestly surprising how much this game has, how much there is going on in this game for, again, being another one of those simple roll and write games. That is all the fun, nice stuff about this game, but there's one thing that happens that is not nice at all, but to me is still really fun, and that is the monsters. Every so often, as you're mapping out the land, you encounter monsters attacking. Goblins and bugbears and whatnot are going to attack you. And the way that that works is you actually pass your sheet to the player to your right or left, and they draw these negative monster squares on your sheet. In general, the game is already incredibly tight with every single shape you're filling in having a really important purpose, but when the monsters come, it's interrupting that and it's saying, you actually need to pay attention to me now, because the way that works is every single round, every space around a monster that isn't filled counts as -1 point, which if you leave alone really adds up, so it becomes a pressing matter right away. To me, it is just another layer of depth to this puzzle of like, how can you best use your shapes to be as efficient as possible and pay attention to the monsters but complete these objectives. And when you get a piece that fits perfectly, covers up a lot of monster spaces, works for your objective, and even more great things about it, it is so satisfying. Overall, I absolutely love this game and I am so excited to play it more. It's one of the favorite games of my mom, sister, and sister-in-law, so it happens to be a game I played pretty often and it's always so fun. I talk about this game in my favorite games to play with my mom video, and I'll link that right up there. I was pointing over there, but it's over there. Is it? Yes, it's right over there. Wait, is it over there? It's over there. Check out that video if you want to hear about great games that I love to play with my mom, and I think that you will too. As I said at the beginning of the video, these are all games that anyone can play, and at the same time, they happen to be fantastic games to play during this time of social distancing and sort of quarantining, because they work great over FaceTime. We have a video all about how to play games during the quarantine. Check it out right there. You're gonna love it. It really shows you why we believe that games are so important, why they're so fun to play, and how you can play them during this time of social distancing and quarantining. Until next time, peace out.